Hey, good morning, everybody. This is day 18 of our community real estate school, and I've been getting some really solid feedback from my high school class, specifically a high school teacher and this high school senior that, of course, are already licensed. And the adult class was just talking before we got started about the format of the class, what we're doing so far. And the reading is important, but just always reading everything versus covering the idea of it and the practical application of it is there's a little bit of a disconnection. And so what has happened is I have started teaching just straight out of the book the same way that machine gunners would teach us when we were preparing for Afghanistan. And there was a lot of people that had seen combat that were excellent teachers, but they would basically throw away the book entirely. And those were the people that I really, honest to God, learned the most from. Now, this is important to me that you're picking up the information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover some of the basics. I'm going to tell you where to find it every day at the beginning of class briefly, and then we're going to go ahead and jump in to sort of whatever it is that we end up doing. I'm going to start working on presenting a better outline for class now that we're not going to be doing classical music, trying to play everything exactly by the book. Instead, we're going to open ourselves up to a little bit more risk, a little bit more fun. My high school class has gotten so much, so interactive that I actually can't post it anymore because we're just talking about the things as we're going through it. They're asking questions live. They're turning off their own microphones. And so I wanted to encourage you to turn off your microphone, ask a question, to give me direct feedback. Because what happened was I got some feedback from an adult earlier last week. And she said, hey, maybe don't do all of this boring stuff and don't embrace the fact that it's boring. Maybe try to do something a little bit different. And I was like, I don't know. Well, you just kind of keep going. But then I have continuously gotten the same feedback. We love Monday. We love Friday. But we trudge through Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday with you because it is something that we want to do to stay involved. And so what I want to do at this point is I want to let you know exactly where to find this information so that you can get signed up for real estate school. You go to calpaces.com. That's CALPACES.com. And you type in the discount code 6106. That will link you to our community's discount code so that you can get the first Tuesday courses for $102.55. And that's if you bring it all the way down to the brass tacks of the digital course. And there are all sorts of add-ons, of course, which you can do as well. But what I want you to do is I want you to do what you need to do, what's necessary for you in your life to succeed. So this is kind of a reset of class. And I want to tell you that what you really have to do is you have to sign up for courses. Get to day 18, which is for those of you that have already taken your courses, you've already gotten signed up for Real Estate Principles, you can actually take your first official test today. So it's 18 days, and then you set an alarm for 18 days from now. You do no studying whatsoever. Show up to class, let's hang out, have the PDF version of your test. It's an open book test. You have a few hours to do it. Do your general studying that you need to do to feel comfortable. But the big thing that you need to do is to pass the test with the state. And of course, if you're in California, there are things that you could do right now to start earning commission unlicensed as a finder. And that's the heart and the soul of really what has become the adult class. Like, we want to help people get paid as soon as possible. And so what you can do is you can help us find and identify people who need to buy and sell real estate. You cannot talk price with them. You cannot talk about a specific home. You can't negotiate. But what you can do is you can identify yourself as a student, as an agent in training, and you can tell them that you're working with our community. What you could do is you give us the RPI Form 115 filled out, which we've gone over how to do this in class. There are recorded instructions on how to do this. You give the address, their phone number, and their name. We reach out to them, pair them with a local licensed real estate professional, and then what happens is they get served properly by a member of their community. You get paid as an agent in training, an unlicensed finder, okay? And then we get paid as the school for setting this up and facilitating this movement. So it's a 25% commission. Of course, we've broken down what that actually comes down to in your average market. Again, live with the calculator. It's all updated and everything. All of our classes are backlogged onto YouTube. They're all on Facebook, along with all of our commission boot camps. So what I want everyone to do is realize that at any time that you're jumping in, it is the perfect time to jump in. In fact, if you're jumping in right now on day 18, that's just fine. Just go back. I suggest learning from the special guest instructors, right? That's going to be important. Checking out those Socratic discussions so that you don't feel so alone. You understand that there are other people that are thinking a lot of the same similar thoughts that you are. And then go ahead and engage with us. Feel free to reach out to me. I've started putting my phone number on all of these down here at the bottom so that you can actually text me. I do text back. I do call back. There was a while there where I wasn't doing it, but now I'm here in the office 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. I'm out in the community on Saturday and Sundays. So feel free to reach out to me. We're actually going to be telling people more about our community's business plan a little bit later today, because this is the time. This is the time for people to understand what we are doing so that we can implement it and help some people understand how they can use EXP instead of the way that people feel, get it used by EXP, implement this really fantastic system to empower your business, empower yourself, empower your community, because you own it. You own it. We preach ownership as agents constantly to people. Own your house, own your house, own your house. We don't talk at all about owning your business. Too many of us have that employee mindset. Not enough of us have that entrepreneurial mindset. And so we want to help to empower you, teach you what we're doing right now to do this in your community. And what we're doing is we're building a community center. We're working with people right now, not just real estate agents, but business owners, nonprofits, churches, anyone that wants to work with us, we want to work with them to empower the community. One of the biggest problems that we have as real estate agents is that we're constantly hanging out with other real estate agents. And real estate agents are regularly the last ones to evolve. They kind of sit back and watch everything happen, right? They sit back and weigh everything out. But really, when you look at all of this stuff in the grand scheme of things, there are people that watch things happen. There are those people that make things happen. And there are those people that sit back and wonder what happened. And in the last few years, there have been a lot of people that have laughed at EXP and called it a penny stock. And that's when I got in. And it was $7 a share. And what has happened is this. Yesterday it went over $160 a share. And I don't say this to brag. I'm somebody who carries cash in my wallet right now because I don't know when I'm going to go negative. I'm in here with you. I'm in the trenches. Like, I'm a part of this, right? I'm lucky enough to have some solid people who are investing in this, right? So I'm right here with you. I'm at work. I'm in it. This right here empowers you by empowering other people. Because what has happened right now? We've had 60% of small businesses go under due to COVID-19. And what has happened because of that? A lot of entrepreneurs are starting new businesses. People are starting new careers. And so this is one of those things that has become extraordinarily important to pay attention to. Andres, who's translating this live in Spanish, and I have talked extensively about this. Amy and I have talked extensively about this. What's happened is there's a fantastic gift that we have been given through COVID-19, and I understand people have lost their lives. But what you have to understand is there is no good, there is no bad, there only is, right? So when you look at the gift in this shift, It is a great reset of the economy. It is a highlighting of the corruptions which exist currently. And what you have is an opportunity to zig when everyone else is zagging, as my good past friend Robert Morrow used to say to me. Zig when they zag. And right now what I see is the corporatocracy, the oligarchy, the big fat cats are getting fat, while those of us at the bottom are struggling, right? So what we need to do is we need to develop this tribe where we can eat together. Let's eat together. What has been exciting for me as somebody who hasn't done extraordinarily well these past few years, I've done very average. In fact, I've only done, 9 transactions in the last 6 or 7 months. God bless you. But things are really picking up for me, and I'm grateful for that. But what I wasn't paying attention to was the stock. I was very excited, 5 days ago when my stock went over $80,000. And I was very excited yesterday when I found out that my stock went over $100,000. And this is from selling real estate and taking 5% of our commissions. This is Kate. This is all Kate. I had no idea this was even happening. Kate took 5% of our commission, put it towards stock for the last 3 years, and now we have a little over $100,000 in stock. Now there are people, a good friend of mine, Margaret Crespillo, up there in Northern California, who has over $2 million in stock. That's a really big deal. Regularly, people are talking to me about, oh, well, I want to retire. I want to find a way out. Well, work in your business, of course, but also work on your business. Understand that people do not wash a rental car. If we preach ownership, why are we not owning our businesses? And that's really what I'm preaching at EXP. I've been to 8 different brokerages. I didn't stumble at EXP. I went looking for value. And so what I want to encourage you to do is wherever it is that you're looking, wherever it is that you're going, look for value. And the best way to find that value is to understand what you want from your brokerage, what you need, right? And there's some, like I was talking to somebody up in Northern California who's considering, one of the big boxes, right? And she says, well, this office has a really good atmosphere, but this office is where I live. This office over here actually doesn't have a really great reputation, but this, and then the thing is that's how these franchises work. They all sort of have their individual reputation and whatnot. And so what we're trying to do with our community is create synergy across areas, across platforms. And I think that it is crucial that if we want to eat, if we want to place food on our tables, to go out and place food on our neighbor's table, right? Help them to eat. That's been a huge part of the merchant market, is this return to the plaza, this return to the market. What happened after the plague was people realized they're mortal, right? They realized they can't depend on their serfs and their landlords to feed them. And the same thing is happening right now. And what the gift was the innovation that came from that. The innovation that came with, well, I'm going to become a merchant. I'm going to develop a trade. And then what people would do is they would go to the plaza, they would go to the market, right? They would go to the Coliseum, and they would transact business. So if you are terrified of Zillow, if you're terrified of being replaced by an application, understand what we learned from Nick Baldwin on Monday was that more people are using a real estate agent now, despite all the technology, despite all of the opportunities to cut an agent out of the transaction. More people are using a real estate agent now than ever before. Than ever before. So if you can go into your community with a servant's mindset, a servant leadership mindset, understand that you are always leading, you are always following, and then step into your own greatness. There's a lot of great opportunity out there for you. And that's what we're looking for right now with our community. Is we're not looking to just empower individuals. We're not looking to empower just a big corporation. We're looking to anchor it down into an entire infrastructure of people, right? And so right now, who really feeds on the disenchanted and the disenfranchised? It's the federal government. And I'm sorry to break it to you, right? I'm sorry to break it to you, but this is what they do. They go directly into the colleges, directly into the high schools, and they recruit for colleges, and they recruit for the military. Now, I can tell you I'm a combat veteran. I served in the United States Marine Corps. Amy is a combat veteran. She served in the Air Force. She went to Iraq. I went to Afghanistan. And I tell people constantly, I probably had more in common with the people that I was shooting at and that were shooting at me than I had with the people that sent us there to fight. The breakdown is the community. The breakdown is the language, right? And so what I want to do is let's break down these walls. Let's break down these barriers. Let's learn how to communicate. Let's learn how to transact. We talked yesterday about the importance of having a lender who is a part of your community. You don't want to have a lender that disappears on you when it comes time for the file to close. In the beginning of my career, we used to be able to write up on the lenders and show up at their office and go, hey man, what's going on with the transaction? And you know what happened was lenders closed business. They did what they said that they were going to do. Now, there is this thought that somehow we're all just going to go to this, new normal, and that new normal is going to require that all of us become islands at home on our computers. That's not the way that it's going to work. That way will not win. What's happening is the major tech companies, the major minds, are figuring out that it's cheaper to pay you to live in Utah or to pay you to live in Texas than it is for you to pay you to live in your community. It's this Robinhood stock thing that happened. What's happened is the people are coming together right now and they're realizing if we tribe up, if we develop community, they can't eat all of us. They can't come after all of us because they will never come into the trenches. They need us to consume, produce. If you want to control the narrative, produce. Here's another sad truth for you. Free speech is not free. You have to buy it. Okay? So in order to control the narrative, you have to make money. In order to be seen, you have to make money. Someone said to me a couple of days ago, they said, David Serpa, why don't you just leave real estate and go serve the homeless if you're so passionate about it? Well, they're a part of the problem. That mindset is a part of the problem. We use our medium to do good. We use our medium in our locality to wage war. Hopefully it is heart-centered. Hopefully you have your heart in connection with your mind and you can properly engage your community. If you're not properly engaging your community, if you're not running a heart-centered business, if you're running an egoic business, your ego will shatter, your business will die, and you will experience the grief that I experienced when my business shattered. Now I still will have love for you. I will be there to pick you up when you go through your spiritual crisis. I went there because other people are going there, right? I'm not interested in going and being the light surrounded by a bunch of light, right? I'm not interested in going to church and all of us, being such a positive example. I want to go into the trenches because that's where my people are, period. Wherever two or more are gathered, there I am. Have we not overcomplicated church? Is our business not our church? Then if you come here today for us to learn how to do business, then let this be church. Let this be something that we can do together as a community to found a new foundation of success so that we can buy the narrative, so that we can buy the stage, so that we can then have an opportunity to be heard. Because until we get an opportunity to be heard, we're going to continue to think that we're divided. We're going to continue to think that there is an us and there is a them. The reason why I am so liberal with my information, why I throw so much of my information out to people, is because I want you to follow. I want you to pick up the pieces that serve you, and I want you to eat, and I want you to implement it. There are enough good ideas out there. I can't do all of them by myself. Period. It is about a squad. People say, what you need to do, Serpa, is you need to level up your peer group. You need to start hanging out with bigger minds. I find no bigger minds than I do in the trenches, than I do in the world. Okay? I don't find a lot of big minds in high places. I find a lot of big egos in high places. If you want to feel exhilarated, go knock on some doors and offer some goodness. We had some big wins yesterday. I like to give my mom some roses when she earns a rose. My mom went out door knocking for the first time yesterday. That's fantastic. That takes courage. She had an individual pitch that is individual to her that nobody ever talked to her about. And it wasn't a pitch. That's the key to having a successful pitch. It's just something that is based in truth. My kids are starting a business. It's called Our Community. We have a merchant market that's going on this Sunday if you want to bring out your family. If you have a small business, we'd love to support you. I'm really proud of my kids. I just want to give you this flyer to let you know where you can find us. We've opened up an office. That pitch is unique to my mom. No one else can take it. It is raw. It is real, authentic, and warm, which is what Amy Serpa came up with, and we preach that here like it's gospel, right? It is raw. Be raw. You don't have to learn a script. You don't have to become perfect. In fact, if you're unlicensed and you want to start a career today, show up in the office here in California. You know where we are. We'll go back to the green screen. We'll take a picture of you. We'll take out the background. We'll put you on a flyer. We'll help you brand Our Community. We'll put your phone number on it. We'll put your email on it. And then we'll empower you to go out and do business today in real estate. You don't have to wait for permission. You don't have to wait for a license to start working in the real estate industry today. You can't talk price. You can't negotiate. You can't call an agent. You can't send out a referral. You don't get to choose who you send it out to. But if you want to work with us, let's figure out how to do it. The biggest question that I'm having in the office is, if I do a whole bunch of businesses, is there a ceiling? Are you going to cap me? No. That's the old way of thinking. That's the old way of thinking. Instead of me saying to people, you're not going to be successful in your first year, I say no one can stop you. No one can limit your success. Let's build this together. Let's build these systems together. I'm not interested in being an individual out here doing this by myself. This is about squad. This is about our crew. This is about building the group of people that we want to ride into this with. And I can tell you constantly, we're finding new people. And new people are finding us, right? And we're getting an opportunity to just have that type of atmosphere, that magnetic type of atmosphere, which people are craving right now. People want to be a part of something that is bigger than themselves while also not cutting themselves out of the equation. Good morning, Zach Block. We don't want you to lose your identity in this. That's what everybody else wants you to do. Hi, my name's David Serpa. I'm a real estate agent. Instead, get out there in the world, do good things, and people will know where to find you. Okay? Part of the good things is figuring out how you can serve people. You can serve people by letting them know that you're doing good things, like the merchant market. Hello, we've got a merchant market going on. We just want to make sure that you know about it. Hello, small business owner. Hello, local merchant. We've got a local merchant going on. We want to highlight you. We want to bring you in. We want to advertise you. That's the way to do it. Start with the give. Sorry to have gone off on a little bit of a soapbox this morning, but I'm looking at the way that things are being done, and I know we can do better. I know we can do better. So as I build, I encourage you to do the same thing. Because ideally, you all get licensed, you get out there in the world, you start doing work, and if you want to start teaching in your local high school, you can do it. If you want to recruit, you can do it. I'll show you how financially successful you can become from recruiting. If you want to practice real estate, I want to empower you to do that. 95% of people at EXP are here to practice real estate. Less than 5% of people have recruited 10 or more people. That's the truth that nobody wants to talk about. It's just a great company to work with. People say, oh, well, Serpa, there are sharks at EXP. Okay, that's no reason to get out of the water because there's food there. So sometimes you have to learn how to become a shark. You know, a lot of people say, oh, well, what happens if I join EXP and then people no longer want to X, Y, and Z? Work with me, do this, do X, Y, and Z, because I am working with this company. Then don't worry about them. Your eyes are on the front of your head, they're not on the back. Or you're going forward. We're designed to be predators. We have these teeth. Eat, eat. Focus on the abundance. I want to start seeing you guys more often if you want to be here. A lot of the people that are logged in here, they're here in the office, or they've got kids at home that they're working with right now on Zoom. They've got 4 kids, but there are always ways that you could start working. Let's figure out how to do that. That's what Commission Bootcamp's all about. So here it is. This is the reset. This is our community's real estate school. You can get started whenever. You can start working as a finder whenever. Get your real estate courses through First Tuesday at calpaces.com. Discount code 6106 to get started, and let's start eating. Today we're covering Chapter 61, the promissory note. Chapter 62, late charges and grace periods. Chapter 63, prepayment penalties. Chapter 64, balloon payment notices. Chapter 65, trust deed characteristics. And Chapter 66, assumptions. There is 34 pages. Of course, we are not going to read from the book today. We're trying to play a little bit more jazz. We'll see how that works. I tend to be a little bit long-winded. It might just be one long guitar solo. Okay, here we go. So the promissory note. Anyway, I don't really want to see. Like now, if we get to this stuff, I don't want to cover it because it's boring. Yeah, I don't even want to cover it. And that's what everybody was telling me that was going to happen. So the adjustable rate mortgage, that's one thing that of course we can talk about. You're not seeing as much of these, though I would not be surprised to see them make a comeback. Because when did we see an adjustable rate mortgage? Anybody? When did we see the adjustable rate mortgage? Really big. There it is, bank, right there. In 2008. And what were rates in 2008? What were rates in 2008? What happened was when they start bringing lending down to near zero, then the adjustable rate mortgage becomes appealing, because the reason why they have brought the rates down to near zero is to attract people to buy, okay? Because rates are low. And what happens is, if you're not paying attention to the taxes, if you're not paying attention to whether or not you have an adjustable rate mortgage, what they'll do is they'll bake in these incentives that make it so that you have a rate that will adjust as with a payment that adjusts. So let's say you get in at your monthly payment's $2,100, but you locked in at a 3.25. Well, what happens to that monthly payment when rates go up to 7% or when they go up to 8%? Okay, and what happens if there's no cap to that? Well, then what happens is a lot of people end up losing their home. They end up having their wealth reset once again. And so one of the best ways that you can protect yourself is do that fixed rate. Do not adjust it. And here's the thing. If you do, because a lot of people are calling me right now and they're saying, hey, should I go ahead and refinance? should, like, rates are so low, should I refinance? The only way that you should refinance is if you can knock some time off your loan. You don't want to go ahead and keep getting a 30-year loan and keep adding more, more years to your loan and never paying off your house. I'm a big. A lot of people say, "Oh, don't pay off your house," and I understand you don't want to pay off your house quickly, but you do want to get your house paid off. What happens is I end up meeting people at a listing appointment, and they've owned their house for 15 years, but they have been constantly refinancing and improving their home, and they end up having no equity in their home after being in their home for 15 years or for 8 years or for 3 years. If you've been in your home for 3 years, there's a pretty good chance that you have some freaking equity in it, unless you've touched it, unless you've refinanced. And that's how you set yourself up for failure, because every time that you refinance, unless you've done a very good job, unless your lender's operating in a lot of truth, you're adding years to your loan, okay? A lot of times the payment ends up going up. With like the payment, oh, hey, look, the payment came incrementally down, but then you added 8 years to your term. So be very careful with what you're doing. Make sure that you're working with a local lender who you can roll up on if they ended up doing some punk ASS stuff. Okay, graduated payment mortgage, all-inclusive trust deed. I saw here for a moment, we saw balloon payments. I think that's coming up later. We'll get into balloon payments when they show up on the page. Okay, late charges and grace periods. They're going to get you. They're going to figure out a way to get you. They're always going to figure out a way to get you. All of the words are weighed heavily in their favor. Should we just teach like this from now on? I think this is the best way to do it. So late charges, figure out how late you can be. Sometimes a bank will give you 5 days, and there won't necessarily be like a late penalty until like the 6th day. So find out what the grace period is with your bank. Make sure that there is not a prepayment penalty. A lot of banks have a prepayment penalty because, of course, they're getting paid on the interest, right, of your loan. Really. So what happens is they loan to you, you buy the house, and let's say you come into some money. Well, sometimes people will pay off their house, which, of course, now you own it. That's fantastic. But what happens is you were being loaned that house, the interest on that house is, let's say 3%, 3.5%, which is very low, right? But they'll pay off their house, but let's say they have a car that they haven't paid off. So there's a lot of different things that you could do to end up being a little bit smarter with your money, or reinvest your money and put your money to work for you. If you were to pay off your house early, one of the ways that they prevent you from doing that is by charging you what's called a prepayment penalty, or there will be a balloon payment at the end of it. And the prepayment penalty is basically the cost of buying out your loan, right? So if they had your interest rate spread out over 30 years, it's front loaded. A lot of the interest that you're being paid often is on the front end of that. And so you're not necessarily paying down towards the principal. And so anyway, see a financial advisor. There's a lot of different ways that you can put your money to work for you. Am I right, Zach Block? Hey, what's your stock at? 100-something thousand. I know you're higher than mine.
Yes.
I went over 100.
I'm at like 180-ish.
180,000.
A lot more, but I sold some.
Okay, so Zach Bach used his penny stock to pay for his wedding, partially, right?
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
And I used to pay off a bunch of debt. It wasn't just the wedding.
Paid off a bunch of
all
debt.
my debt.
Pretty good for penny stock. And he has like $180,000 in penny stock. And I recruited him into EXP. I've been here significantly longer because I was waiting for him because he was punishing me. I understand that. He told me about EXP first. That's totally understandable. He's the brains in the operation, but I'm the muscle. I love you, Zach Block. So Zach has $180,000 in stock. I have 100-something thousand. He's got more than me. I've been here longer. He's been selling more real estate than I have. Okay. Enforcement of the late charge. All the crap. Chapter 62. Prepayment penalties. We already talked about this crap. Avanza. Or is that advance or? Okay, advance. Chapter 63. More crap. Okay, chapter 64. Balloon payment notices. The final balloon payment, again, this is long verbiage for some garbage. What? Going to forbearance. We'll talk about forbearance later. There will definitely be a time for forbearance. Also, okay. All right. Chapter 65. Wow, look at us. We're moving right along. Page 423. What are we going to today? I'll make sure that we're going to 435. Okay. 435. This is going to be like that class you show up to, an English class, where the person talks about they're running for local office, or their kid is a Girl Scout or something for like 45 minutes and then doesn't cover the lesson at all. Welcome to class, Mr. Aspen Martin. You have unleashed an animal in me. All right. Trust deed characteristics, chapter 65. Security device and a lien. This is where I'll get myself into trouble talking, because I don't know anything about trust deeds. This is homework. Honestly, we did get after that balloon payment, all that stuff in the right way. We talked about the adjustable rate mortgage in a way that's practicable. I think that I would be doing all right. Okay, let's keep going. Foreclosure. Okay, this is still no fun. Chapter 66, assumptions, formal and subject to. Mortgage takeover by a buyer. Okay, this is one of those unicorn things that they sell you all the time that you don't necessarily ever see. They're like, hey, listen, if you've got a VA loan, you can assume somebody else's mortgage payment. If you've got an FHA loan, you can assume someone else's payment. And let's say they only owe $20,000 on their loan. You could come in there and just assume the last 20 months of their payments, and then you own the house. Okay, there's a lot of predatory crap out there, and there's a lot of ways to take advantage of people. You can make assumptions let's say you got a smoking rate, right? But the only way that I've seen any of this stuff work or even get close to working is when you negotiate all of the different variables that go along with the deal. Because the truth is, if somebody owes $25,000 on a $250,000 home, they're not going to give you $225,000 in equity unless they're being taken advantage of. That's bad juju, Ricky Bobby, right? So there's a lot of different ways that you could take advantage of people. I would much rather see you empower people through real estate, so we're not going to really get too heavily into this. Now, if you decide, let's say there are some ways that I've seen this potentially work out, where there's a dad who has a VA loan. He got a smoking rate, right? Rates end up coming up a little bit, but right now rates are super low. And so what happens is he only owes so much on his house. He wants to just go ahead and give it to his kid, and he wants to gift them he wants them to assume the loan, right? Kid's a veteran, easy peasy, right? There are ways that you could do it. There's a lot of different tax reasons why you would want to do something like that. But the truth is this stuff is one of those things that people advertise to get new clients that doesn't necessarily work out. Do you want to buy a house for hundreds of thousands of dollars less than it's worth? I'll teach you how to buy and take advantage of people. So I would rather operate in the light. There's no reason to operate in the dark. There's no reason to operate in the shade unless you're running into the darkness to be the light, period. So there's a lot of really different ways to get into real estate. There's a lot of different ways to get paid. Page 435, I think we're done. I think that's it. We might even leave some meat on the bone. Let's open this up at this point. I want people who have questions to answer them. Of course, you can find this class every day. You can participate live. You can watch it. We'll go and send it out straight to YouTube. We cover the meat and potatoes of it. I'd rather give you back 13 minutes than keep on dragging you through any more hot wind. Hey, James, how are you? I'm going to go and ask to unmute you. Oh, he accidentally left. Or he left on, oh no, he turned off his camera.
I'm doing all right, thank you.
Good, brother. Fantastic. I'm glad to hear that you're doing at least all right. What did you think about real estate class today?
I thought it was all right. I thought it was good. covered some good topics, you know.
Sure.
Trying to take myself, so, you know, I'm trying to learn myself.
Are you working towards getting licensed, or are you licensed currently?
I am working towards my license.
Okay.
Actually, I just started. I'm on chapter 1 of the course, of an online course.
Right on. Well, I'll tell you this much. You don't have to read the book straight through the way that everyone's telling you that you have to do it. It's an open book test. So what I did was I set an alarm in my phone for every 18 days. And when that alarm went off, I knew that it was time to take the test. And I knew that I had 3 hours and a PDF book to get me through it.
So you're saying it's an open book test at the place you take the real
No,
estate test?
but the first 3 certificates that you're going to need are open book. And that's what you're going to mail off so that you can get your California State real estate license, okay? Are you in California, right?
Yes.
Okay, and where are you in California?
Temecula.
Temecula. Okay, well, you're local. Okay, so then what I would suggest doing is you literally don't even have to log back into this class. Mondays and Fridays are fun. Tuesdays through Thursdays, we're trying to make it a little bit better. But what you can do is you can literally, because have you signed up for Real Estate Principles yet?
Yes.
Okay, so your 18 days are ticking. So set up your alarm 18 days from now. When that alarm goes off, you'll know, hey, tonight at 6 o'clock, I'm going to sit down with dinner and I'm going to knock out my test, right? Some people find it stressful not to study. I found it very easy to get through the test. You're going to do that again after you take that test. You'll enroll in the next course, real estate law, real estate, the 3 different ones every 18 days. Knock out your test, kill it, move on, and then what you could do is in 54 days, now you're mailing off to get your real estate license and take your test, and all you have to do is mail in your live scan. Now, there's all sorts of different places where you can do that. And so I don't need you to get through all of this with us. I'm keeping this through a 75-day period so that we stretch it out and hold people accountable to getting it done. And also, you can start earning commission now while you're learning. If you know anyone who needs to buy and sell real estate, call us up, fill out the RPI Form 115, and we can help you do that. Amy can help you do that. That way you can get a 25% commission. Now, up where I am, the average price point is about $500,000, okay? Now, we're at an 80-20 split, 2.5% commission. So the way that this breaks down mathematically is $500,000, you get a 2.5% commission on average, on the buy side or on the sell side. That means that's $12,500 total. Now, at EXP, we're at an 80-20 split until we cap. 80-20 means that that's a $10,000 to the agent and $2,500 to the organization, okay? So that $10,000, now that, you get 25% of that while you're learning. You'll get 100% of that once you get licensed. But what happens is we're gonna send some of it to the agent who's going out to close it, some to the school to keep us going, and then so your commission, your take on average would be $2,500. Now in Temecula, you're in a little bit of a higher price point than I am in Winchester, so it would be a little bit higher for you. And there's lots of things that you could do. You just can't talk price. You can't call an agent and negotiate. You would call us with the RPI Form 115 so that we can sign it and get it back to you. We'll follow up with your client. If you want to be a part of the process, we're of course happy to include you. But of course, we would be representing them. The agent would be representing them. You don't necessarily have the due diligence, but you can still earn commission because you've offered a valuable service. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Kind of shed some light on the process?
Yes, it does. It does.
Fantastic, my brother. Anybody else in Zoom or on Facebook have any questions for me before I cut you guys loose for the day? Okay, of course, we do this real estate school every day, 9 to 10 for the adults. We translate it live into Spanish. That's what Andres de Arense is doing right now in the other room. And so, Christy, where are you, Christy?
I'm here.
No, I'm just kidding. And then Daniela, I appreciate you joining us. James, I appreciate you being a part of this. We've already have a high school senior licensed. We already have a high school teacher licensed. Like, this is part of a network that we're creating that if you want to fast track it, you can absolutely fast track it if you don't want to listen to all the hot air. If you're busy, and I know that you're busy, just jump on YouTube, pick up the courses that you want, forget the ones that you don't. If you want a little bit of extra, hop on to Commission Bootcamp. You could come in here to the office, every day at 10 o'clock or beforehand if you want to sit here and listen to me talk for a little while. And what we're doing is we're learning how to fish together. We're teaching people how to fish, how to generate leads. I'll take a picture of you. I'll put your phone number on it. I'll put your email on it with some branding. You can help us market some of this stuff, market you. And then what we'll do is people will reach out to you directly when they want to buy and sell real estate. And then you partner them to us. We'll reach out to them, et cetera, and so forth. Easy peasy. What we've done is we've overcomplicated the process because agents don't understand the books that they didn't read when they went through real estate school. And I'm not shaming anybody here. I understand. I didn't read them either. But then when I decided that I was going to prepare this course, I realized, holy smokes, there's a lot of really innovative things that you could do in California. And the Finder program is one of them. Okay, I appreciate you guys watching. I'm going to cut you guys loose. I'll stick around for a moment on Zoom if anybody has any questions. And everybody on Facebook and YouTube, have an absolutely wonderful day. Huh? We have what? At 10? 11. Okay. All right. Well, all right. That doesn't work with my narrative. I'm just kidding. No, Tiffany Cross is coming in with Dedicated Credit Repair at 11 o'clock. And of course, one of the things that we're having right now is these guys are going around. A lot of them are solar salesmen. They're talking to people. They're selling. Is there a reason why you don't want to buy solar? Well, are you moving? You happen to be leaving California? And then what they do is they partner them up with us. We take it from there. Or, you know what, I'm actually renting. My credit isn't where it needs to be. And then what we do is we send them to Tiffany at Dedicated Credit Repair. She nurtures them. She helps them get spun up. She sends them back to us. And of course, we know that that's associated with the Finder that originally started working with them. And then we are creating these systems together. So this is all part of it. We're doing it live. We're doing it live. Any other questions? All right. Bye, Facebook. Bye, YouTube. Adios.